last of all, thank you so much for having us here and
Hey, thanks for dropping by.
I was really happy to do so. I mean, I think all of us were really happy to do so. It was a very exciting thing this morning. We were actually really looking forward to being here.
And
so, weird experience,
yeah, I hope you enjoy the food and that it won't be so hidden like like all the other gems are.
Oh wow.
Again, like things like biryani as well is quite prominent, but it overlaps. There are other communities who make biryani as well.
Yeah.
But it's just the way we do it is just slightly different. It has a bit more of a Persian influence with more nuts and milk and things like that.
That's a Persian thing. Nuts and milk and
and raisins.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what does the other biryani consist of?
Well, they just do it in a more different style. So I guess the Indian Muslim biryani is a bit more spicy, a bit more rempah-like, and not layered. So ours is layered and has lots of mint and quite a fresh taste, and not so greasy and things like that. Yeah. But Bamia, for one, like the style of Bamia that we have in Penang, we always eat it with Roti Benggali. So Bamia directly translated in Arabic means okra. The lady's finger, bendi. Yeah, so Bamia is okra. So it's a dish that usually consists of okra in a tomato kind of base, whether it's soup or thick. And sometimes there'll be meat, sometimes it's plain okra. But over here, it's more of a soupy, thick thing which you dip with bread. And we use boneless lamb and okra and very light spices. And when you eat it, you definitely know it's a bit more Middle Easternish than Malay or Mama.
Speaking of bread, I'm glad that you mentioned that because I'm starting to notice that the bread is not your stereotypical bread in a cafe per se. This is
what we call Roti Benggali. So it's quite a very traditional Penang style bread. You only get this style thick white crusty loaf in Penang. So only two bakeries do it, and it's actually bread introduced by the British. So it's a British style bread which was originally baked in India. And when the British rule started to come to Southeast Asia, they brought their bakers with them. And one of the places where it became quite significant was Penang. So that's why it's called Roti Bengali, not necessarily from Bengal, but from the Bay of Bengal where East India Company was.
And the thing is, because for me, personally, my exposure to Bengali bread was mostly during like Ramadan.
Definitely.
Buka puasa. You have that spread.
Yeah.
You will always have Roti Bengali.
And usually it's either toast, but I think very common Roti Bengali is consumed with gravy, chicha with curry, with fish curry or any sort of gravy, just or chicken curry. Yeah, it's very common to eat it as a dipping.
I see a lot of parallels between you as an individual and as a chef. I was watching this documentary. He was an Italian chef. He was based in New York, and his history, he said that usually Italian food when he was growing, he's old obviously, as he was growing up, it was more like sloppy, very just big pot. And when he created his restaurant, it was all this really fine dining Italian thing. And I noticed there seems to be a quite similar parallel between you and him. But what I meant was like your passion and drive was reflected in how you presented yourself, your food, and how you talked about it, your history. Because it was not just I'm gonna sell my culture, make a buck, and then run a restaurant. It's more like personal goal.
It was a personal goal, and it's also when you start off something new and people don't know about, you have this determination not to fail. From then, you want to just add more value to whatever the customer is paying. So you add value by service, by preparing your food nicely. Pretty straightforward. People pay money, we give them what they deserve. Plus.
I really love the effort that you put into your food. You don't get it a lot, and it's very refreshing to me.
We try to do everything in-house. Like most things are in-house, and only certain things like the breads are because we want to promote more traditional products. So we promote this style bread. So people, after eating here, before they drive back to KL, they can go buy a loaf for themselves. But of course, these things we just adapt along the way. Hummus usually is consumed with flatbread or Middle Eastern bread, which is usually flat.
So I think we reached the end of the interview, and I was wondering, is there anything that you wanted to say to everybody in regards to what dish they should definitely try on their first visit?
Definitely for a Jawi House experience, udang, nasi lemuni, serabai, maybe a laksa if you have space, and a dessert of your choice. What's really popular is red velvet and some local things like bubur, pengat, Sarawak pisang. You'll definitely be taken care of.
I'm actually getting really hungry right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of
everybody
food waiting
watching,
for
there
you.
you go, straight from the chef. His advice on what you should have when you first come.
Thank you very much. Great, cool. Hope you enjoy your lunch.
Oh, looking forward to it.
Cool.